In this free web design course, I'm going to show you that how can you design this stunning restaurant website literally from scratch, which I charge thousands of dollars for in my Go High Level web design agency. Just take a look at what we are going to cover and the entire homepage that's going to get covered, right? So just quickly take a look at this complete landing page that we are going to build completely from scratch, and I'm going to show this into this tutorial. So make sure that you are watching this free course or the first part like to the end, because you're going to learn everything from scratch, whether it's UX, UI, design, how does the Go High Level web editor works, right? My psychology behind designing these kind of stunning projects for our clients so that you can do it too for your own business, or if you want to share it or do it for your own clients, then feel free to learn that and do it for yourself as well, right? So this is the landing page that we are going to build for, sorry, this is the website that we are going to build, but today we are going to build the home page for this. And then on the coming videos, the coming tutorials for all this free course, we're also going to build the menu page, the catering page, about, events, and contact, all of it, right? The complete 9 yards is going to be built in this complete new free website course of Go High Level. You must be thinking, what is Go High Level, in case you're not really aware of, right? Go High Level is the all-in-one marketing agency tool that I believe literally every agency or every person that who wants to have something online should be using, because it literally has everything, whether in terms of website, funnels, landing pages, calendar, forms, surveys, whatnot, payment system, literally everything. And if you are very ambitious and you want to have the plan that, hey, I really want to have a SaaS business of my own where I can, take Go High Level, white label it with my own brand and branding and naming, and then I can sell it to my own community or my own customers and then charge a monthly fee for. If that's what you're looking for, then definitely Go High Level is the go-to platform for, right? But you must be thinking, Pritam, who are you in order to teach me about Go High Level or even about web designing in general, right? So let me quickly introduce myself. So if you go to pritam.bhadra.com, you will land on this awesome landing page. By the way, I just got Go High Level certified and the first Indian ever to be able to do so. Right. So we are a Go High Level focused web design agency. We have been working on the builder for more than 3 years now. Right. We have served more than 200 plus 200. We have built more than 200 plus custom design projects based on the marketing and the client specific needs, and served more than 70 plus clients across 12 plus countries across the entire globe, right? That's what we do as an agency, and we specialize this. And we have been fortunate enough to be working with 6, 7, and 8 figure businesses using Go High Level, hiring us on a repeat mode so that we can constantly build stunning funnels and website that actually make a difference compared to the other ones, right? If you want to know more about me, you can just go to Facebook and then search Pritam Bhadra. You will be able to see my profile, and you will be able to see what we do behind the scene. You can also come in and chat with me. I'll be happy to see that you're watching my videos and you're learning from it and actually implementing it in your business, right? By the way, if you're somebody who is looking to buy templates, right, you feel free to go to ghltemplateshop.com, which is my own another business that provides premium top notch of website templates and funnel templates for our clients, and it's there available at a fraction of price, right? So that's pretty much bit about what do we do, who we are. I believe they've already established the credibility and our experience in the entire world, and I'm very happy to give this knowledge for entirely, for absolutely free. I will make sure that I do not guard anything from myself. Rather, I give my all my knowledge, experience of web design, UX, UI, customer experience, customer psychology, right? The marketing strategy, all of it for absolutely free, so that you can utilize this in the best way possible, right? So let me just get rid of all of these. By the way, if you go through my link to register for Go High Level, we're going to set up that account for you, and you are going to get funnels and website from me that are worth thousands of dollars in the market based on the quality that we are providing, right? So first things first, this is what the landing page or the home page looks like. It has a stunning video that's again in the background. It has a very specific logo. It is about, it shows about where it is. It has two buttons, and of course it has this beautiful navigation bar at the top, right? It has this beautiful, their timings, a kind of a portray of what the dishes are or how it's going to look, so that it can attract people. I'm going to go into that depth, so do not worry about that. It has a beautiful menu section, again a food gallery section that constantly updates over a very small period of time, so that you can check their gallery and stuff, which is very very cool, right? About the story of the restaurant owner, right? About the events, because a lot of restaurants are also into the event businesses. They provide their offerings for the events as well. So about that, about catering services, because a lot of big parties and functions hire these restaurants for the catering services, so that's also going to get included. Then this stunning effect of client reviews. By the way, I'm going to all build this from scratch in this exact tutorial, so make sure that you watch this complete thing from scratch. And of course, at the end, design and develop by PV Digital, my company. I have seen a lot of people viewing our free courses, reaching out to me and looking for done for you services. So, in case you are interested for a done for you service where we help you build these stunning funnels and website, then make sure that you go to pritam.bhadra.com and you book an appointment with me. So, that's pretty much it. Let's dive in into building this stunning website. Let's get started. Awesome. So here's what you need to do to build this stunning website. So first of all, you need to have a Go High Level account. If you do not have a Go High Level account, as I mentioned, you can sign up through my link. You're going to get free bonuses that worth thousands of dollars, and I'm going to personally give it to you. Right. So that's one thing. In case you already have a Go High Level, then what you need to do is you need to come to your sub account. Right. You cannot build a funnel or a website, at the agency level. Rather, you have to come to a sub account, and then if you scroll down, you will be able to see something called as sites. When you go to sites, then you will have you'll automatically land on the first bar, which is funnels, right? So it can be built on funnels and it can be also built on the website section. Is totally depending on what you like. There is not a very much or a specific difference. It's just how the pages are laid out. That's pretty much it, right? I personally like funnels, but for this project, I'm going to use the website section, and I've already created a website called as a restaurant website course, which is a free course. This is going to be a multi-step course, which basically means in this course we are going to cover this entire homepage from scratch. On my second part, I'm going to cover the how to create this entire thing into the mobile optimization mode, so that this is 110% mobile optimized. As you know, more than 90% of the traffic now, depending on different use cases, come in the mobile mode, because everybody is on their phone, right? Nobody knows better than you and I living in the current age, right? Then on the coming up tutorials, you're going to learn how to design a menu section for a restaurant and how to make it 100% mobile optimized. Then for the catering, then for the about section, the events and contact. You're not just going to learn how to do it, you also will be able to learn why to do it, right? Why to do it. That's super important. You need to learn that if I'm doing something, what is the implication of that? Why I should be doing this? How this can help my website grow? How this can help me get more projects, get more clients, get more customers? That is the key to designing everything, right? You need to understand, you need to start thinking in terms of ROI. You know, start thinking in terms of, okay, this is going to do this is going to do this, and understand, right? A single change in the text might not be a huge impact, but overall, depending on how who you are, what is the entire website look like, what does the funnel look like, is going to impact in a long term. Our clients have made multiple six figures by the funnels that we have built a year and a half ago. You must have seen all those tutorials. If you haven't, make sure that you watch all our tutorials, because they are super jam packed and worth thousands of dollars, that I'm sharing my knowledge for absolutely free. Let's get started into this, right? So now, as we are in the website section, we are going to click on this called as add new page. So I'm going to click on this and create a page. Here I'm going to name it home page, right? So this is the name of the page, which basically means this is what is going to show up inside your this section, where you can see it internally. It will not be showed up externally. Okay, so this is asterisk, which means this is mandatory, and this is the path. Is the path for this page, which basically means that if people type your domain / this path, then people are going to come to this landing page or come to this page basically, right? So this also we are going to write home, because as you can see, our first page itself is called home. So we're going to write that, and then we are going to click on create new page. So this is going to create a new page altogether for me, and they're going to build this exactly from scratch. As you can see, this has created a new page for us, and it has given us two options. The first option is called use existing, and the second is create from blank. What do you mean by use existing? Let's say you have a website already, a funnel already in this particular sub account, and you want to copy that entire landing page or the home page or whatever the page it is exactly in this current website or a funnel, right? In that case, you can literally pull that landing page or pull that home page into this part as well. Creating from blank, which means that you literally start from a white canvas, there's nothing in it, and you build it from scratch. The way literally a painter or an artist starts from a paintbrush and a white canvas, that's what we do, and that's what I'm going to do, so that you can literally do anything that you ever imagine in Go High Level. So let's get started on that. Let me just take my video on the right hand side. So I'm going to click on this drop down option. As you can see here, though it comes up on the top, that you can see here, it shows that edit in a new tab, because I always like to manage my tabs properly, because that's what you should also be doing as a professional web design expert, right? So yeah, this is going to create and build and open up the editor, and we then are going to create this entire stunning project. So let's give it some time. It generally takes a few seconds for the buffering to complete, and that, as you can see here, it is now loading the home page or the editor page, right? I'm also going to give you a complete walkthrough of what the editor looks like, so that if you're new, so that you can learn from scratch and you're not very confused as to, hey, Pritam didn't say what is this, because I'm going to take care of all of that. It's a beginner friendly course. Okay, so here's what it is. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the back button, which basically means if you click on this, you're going to go back to this page, okay, or this section where all your pages are aligned. Okay, that's point number one, right? Point number two is that on this same horizontal line, you will be see something like this, which is nothing but preview. So let's say you have already something and you have designed it and you want to preview it, then it's not showing something because there's literally nothing in it, right? So once you preview it, so once you have done something, you can save here or preview here. That's going to give you a preview and showcase how exactly it's going to look like as a live URL. Save, which basically means, this which I highly recommend, is whenever you're doing something, make sure that you save this, because if something happens to your internet, if there's a bug appears on Go High Level or whatever the reason is, right, or you dropped your laptop or whatever that happens, right, then and if that's not saved and by mistake, this you literally close this tab, in that case it's going to be very difficult, because you're not be able to retrieve your work or your hard work that you have done, especially for us right, who spend weeks and weeks of time in order to build projects for our clients. We definitely take this very, very seriously, and so should you. Publish basically means that if you already have a domain attached to your landing page or your website, in that case, any changes that you make will not be showcased on the live URL, right, which is the live domain, right, unless and until you publish this. It's a very, very nice feature, because now you can still make any changes and just save it, right? So all the changes will be saved and will not be available on the live link or the live URL unless and until you publish this. That's when you are ready to showcase all the changes that you have made to the world, right? So that's pretty much it. Now on the next bar, you will be able to see that this is called as add elements, which basically means that you can add these elements, and these elements are structured in a way that kinds of is the skeleton or the layouts, what we basically call as, right? So as you can see, the sections is basically the base building block of this landing page or this website. Okay, so this has full width, wide, medium, and small. 99.9% of the cases, I highly recommend that you use something called as full width, because when you use something called as full width, it's going to give you that flexibility in order to utilize the entire thing. Because if you're not using full width, then let's say you're using, let's say, medium, right, then it's going to create a medium section, and then it's going to have some gaps on the left and right side, which you as a user will not have any access to, because you're not using the entire width. So make sure that you use the full width. In some cases, yes, you can use wide, or probably the extended or the more advanced version of full width, which I'm going to show you in our upcoming videos, right? So for this, we are going to use full width, right? So this full width, as you can see, this section is in green color. So every section is going to be in green color. That's the color code, and that's what we should be always knowing, right? Apart from that, here, as you can see, there's something called as rows. So rows basically means there is columns, right? And there are rows. So every single thing here is basically a row, but it has multiple columns within these rows. Okay, I hope that I was able to make you understand that. As you can see from the image representation, that hey, this is one row, but is also a one column. One row horizontally and then one column vertically. Okay, and this is a two column, which means one row vertically and two columns vertically. Can you see that? Same goes for 3 and 4, right? So for this one, we probably just need a one column row. So we're just going to add a one column row. That's pretty much it, right? Then we have, oh, by the way, I just forgot to add all of these, but I'm going to convey all of that. Don't worry about it. Then we have something called as elements, right? This is where you literally use all of these tools to build what you want. You want a text, you want your bullet, you want your buttons, you want your forms, you want blogs, you want navigation, you want image slider, videos, FAQ, coding, countdown. Does not matter, right? Whatever you already have it, you can use it for yourself right here. Global sections are a different concept altogether, which basically means, I'm just not going to go too deep into this. This basically means that, hey, if you are learning, so it basically means that if you have a top navigation bar or a footer, right, and you must be having that into multiple of your pages of your website, right? So instead of going back into the website and changing every single page every single time you're making a small tweak in your navigation or footer, instead of that, you can make this global section. So once you change in one page, it gets globally implemented on all other pages. I hope that sounds interesting, and that's very convenient for no-code developer like us who can develop and make things faster, right? Because it's not using our time properly, but we can get maximum efficiency because of these things. Section templates, on the other hand, is where you do a section, you like it, and you want to reuse it probably in future or on other landing pages. Then you can just create a section template, and then based on the template library you have created, you can pick and choose and then add it into your existing landing page or your website, right? And then you have all of these things, and you have something called store, which is basically for the e-commerce part, right? Apart from that, you have layers where you will be able to see that what are the pages, what is the structure of everything. If you click on that drop down arrow, you will be able to see that what all things are, what all elements, structures, sections, columns, all included. So this will give you a very clear pictorial representation. Then you have something called as pages, which is currently now we only have the home page, but as we build this project, we are going to have multiple pages. As you can see here, a home page, menu page, catering page, about page. So a lot of pages, right? Apart from that, you have something called as tracking code. So if you are Google tracking via Google tracking, or you're using something else, then you can use this tool and add it into the header, into the footer, developing on the person who is guiding you to do it. You can have something called as custom CSS part, where Go High Level literally allows you to add your own custom CSS, which is again needs to be compatible with the internal code of Go High Level, so that it can represent and make changes on the outside. Apart from that, you have these typography, which is super important, because all the things that you see on this bar is going to control how it's going to look on the entire landing page or the entire home page or whatever the page you call it to be, right? So for example, if you add this CSS, it's going to get implemented on the entire landing page. Same goes for this this typography as well. If I choose the typography to, let's say, something else, let's say Lato, right, then the entire typescript of the head font or headline font is going to be Lato, right? So that's how it's going to be. Apart from that, you also have background colors. You can set a default background color or default background image. You can have pop-up for yourself. You can have SEO metadata. This is something really nice, came up recently, so I'm going to deep dive into this as well, right? Apart from that, you also have preview codes, and yep, that's pretty much it. You can also switch between pages from here. Let's say you want to go to menu page, right? Then you can switch directly from here instead of going back and then again opening from this section, right? Then you also have, so Go High Level as of now provides you to edit and make changes into two modes, which is desktop and mobile. It does not have something called as tablet mode, right? You must be aware of it. So, and that's perfectly fine, because less than 1% of the traffic is utilizing tablet. So That's perfectly fine. But if Go High Level can do an amazing job in the desktop and the mobile mode, I think that should be more than enough for them to do an amazing work at the website developer or the website tool. And I believe they're already doing a pretty amazing work, because as you can see, this is a stunning website or for a restaurant, and I believe all of you would like to build something exactly like this for your own restaurant business, or you want to have for your own clients as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all built on Go High Level using zero code, right? This is a fact. It's zero code, right? Awesome. So this is the mobile mode on how it's going to look on mobile. So that's pretty much it. Let's get started. Okay. So now here's what we need to do, right? The first thing first, as you can see here, this is the first section that we are going to build, right? Cool, guys. So in order to start the hero section, as you can see here, so we call this as the hero section because this is the first section that comes up, and this is super important because this needs to grab the eye's attention and the visitor's attention and focus. If this part is not visually attractive, is not eye-catching, does not convey what you do as a business, right? Then chances are that people are not going to scroll down and see what's in it for them, right? So they need to understand that what's in it for them, the messaging, the videos, the graphics, the visuals, the content, the copy, every single thing should be super clear so that people can understand, hey, I'm at the right place, this sounds to be something that I'm interested in, let me explore more. Super important to understand, because you need to start thinking from the point of view of your customer, right? Your customer does not has a lot of time, and he's probably busy, probably scrolling something, probably probably in his or her bed, probably in a bus, probably going to catch a meeting. I mean, things are happening in their life, and they're using their social media or their smartphone to see what's going on in the entire world. And if you want to pop up, right, let's say onto their smartphone, on the laptop, on desktop, then you have to make sure that the first thing that comes up needs to be super clear, super concise, and super interesting, right? I hope I was able to make sense. And in order for you to do this inside the Go High Level builder, you need to understand that how this was built. You need to have that ability to be able to see something and tell me that, Pritam, we can do this, this, and this inside the Go High Level builder. We cannot do this inside the Go High Level builder, but we can modify this to suit what Go High Level can do. I have had a lot of people who are very stubborn and who reach out to me and say, Pritam, I want the website on my Go High Level platform to be exactly like this design. I want to be exactly like this. I tell them very clearly, hey, look, right? You are using a no-code builder, which basically means that Go High Level has its own platform to build the landing pages, and you're not really coding things out because they have a platform for it. Right. So if you want something very, very specific, and let's say as I see this, I understand this specific part is not, you cannot do this in Go High Level because Go High Level does not have that element or that feature to be able to do so. Then we can modify that, right? If you do not want to modify that and you still want to use Go High Level, probably you will have to write thousands of lines of code into HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and risk it all for the site to break when traffic comes in. I've seen that happen, and I do not encourage that. Right? So you need to be able to understand that, hey, and I've seen a lot of people are very understanding in this nature, and they come to me and they say, hey, Pritam, I want something like this, but I'm open to your suggestion as to what we can do and how much of this is possible, and probably you can make it even better, right? Not just this, probably even better. And that's what we do as an agency, right? So when you see this, you need to be able to tell me that, how am I able to build this in Go High Level? Can you tell me or not? Watch this, pause this video for 2 seconds, and then tell me, can you build this on Go High Level? If yes, what elements you're going to use, how you're going to use this, how this section is going to be carried forward. Pause this video and tell me. Pause it. Understood? No? Probably you haven't watched my other courses and tutorials, but do not worry, I'm going to teach you from scratch. First things first, we have a one section. We do not have multiple sections in here. We have one section because this entire background is a video of which is on the Go High Level platform. This video also has this navigation menu bar. So we need to fit the navigation menu bar as a part of the video. And for that, we cannot have two sections. We need to have one section with the entire background being that video covered in it. So the video is going to wrap up everything, right? So we have this navigation bar, and am I using the navigation bar of Go High Level? Now here's the thing. I am, yes, but I'm tweaking a few things here and there, again without CSS, to be able to achieve this only menu thing. Normally you have you know a logo, which is this logo on the top left hand side, right? However, you can do a bit of trick and probably get away with it, and then use your own a bit of custom designing, which I'm going to show it to you. Then you have a pretty nice spacing here, which basically means you have to use padding and margin to be able to do so. Then you need to have a good logo. Again, this logo is transparent in nature, which basically means that whatever is happening at the background can be seen within the logo, right? Also, at the same time, as you can see, this is a text which is of a specific font, right? And the name of this font is called Anton. I'm going to show that to you. And then we now have two buttons, right, which is close together, but it is along the center line of the hero section. Super important to visualize this in your mind, because once you visualize this, you will be able to build this because you know what to do and how to do it. Now, let me give you the real example as to how to do it. First things first, right? We're going to choose the typography and then select. So the first thing is Montserrat. Montserrat is the most commonly used font faces across the entire world. I like it, but for this purpose, I'm going to use something called as Anton. Okay, as you can see, Anton is there. And for content, I'm going to use something called as Poppins. Right. Again, it's up to your choice, right? Nothing, there's no hard and fast rule on this. You can use your own font that you think is suitable. By the way, let me just tell you this. Go High Level uses Google Fonts, right? So as of till date, right, Go High Level does not have the ability in order to export external font, which is highly requested and recommended by so many of us, right? Go High Level users, and they are already working on it. Probably it's going to take some time, but whenever it comes, it's going to be amazing, because we can then upload an external font and then use it on the website builder or the funnel builder. For now, you're using Google Fonts, and let me tell you, there are hundreds and probably thousands of Google Fonts, if I'm not wrong. But yeah, you can find one that suits you best, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we have the home navigation bar at the top. So let me just make sure that it's compatible to me. Okay, perfect. Now, as you can see here, this is how the section looks. Now here it has, as you can see here, it has this purplish, color. For this is called as the column, which is the vertical section. On the top, you'll be able to see the blue color, which is the darker blue, and this is the column, which is the one column structure. And then, as you can see, this is the red thing, which is called as add an element. So now I'm going to add an element called as navigation menu. As you can see, this is what the navigation menu looks like. It's nothing similar to what we currently have, so we need to have that as well. So what we need to do here is, first of all, take this and delete it. We do not need that at all. Let me take myself on the top here. Hi. So what we need to do here is, we do not want the image as well. So as you can see here, if I just click on the navigation bar, then on the right hand side, all the navigation menu setting, any kind of setting related to the element which you're using is going to pop up on the right hand side. It's going to have a general bar, it's going to have an advanced section, and in some cases it's also going to have themes, pre-installed themes that you can use. Right. So for this, what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down, as you can see here, brand logo configuration, and we're going to turn off this image. Sounds good? So we are not going to use this. Rather, we are going to use our own thing. So first of all, we have something called as home, then menu, then catering, right? So we already have home, about, and contact. So I'm just going to scroll up and we'll be able to show you menu items. Super important to understand this, because a lot of people I've seen ask me this question in my DMs, in the Facebook group, sometimes in the comment section as well of my YouTube channel. But I want to teach you this for once and all, right? So here's the thing. You have home, you have about, you have team, you have contact. If you want to create a sub menu, which basically means that, let's say if I hover on home, then let's say about should come under home and not a part of the main menu, which is home, about, team, and contact. It should be home, team, contact, and about should come as a sub part of the home when hovered on. In that case, can you see these 6 dots, right? What you need to do here is, you need to hover on this. As you can see, now it says reorder, which basically means that you can change the ordering of that. You can take this from top, bottom, right? All of that can be done, which is basically going to change the position of this. So let's say if I keep home here, sorry, if I keep home here, then as you can see, the home position has shifted from after home to now after team. But we do not want that. We want this to be inside it. So we are going to grab that and then slide inside it. As you can see, this now got aligned and got shifted towards the right. Now just leave it, right? As you can see, now you only have home, team, and contact. Let me just take myself down, right? And now if you hover on this, you're going to have about section, right? So that's pretty fun, right? And I'm going to use this horizontal spacing to space things up. So if I hover on team, I'm not going to get anything. If I hover on contact, again, I'm not going to get anything. But if I hover on home, I will be able to get the sub menu of it, which is about. And the reason for that is because I have changed the ordering. And now this is inside the home, which is a sub part of the entire navigation menu. Makes sense? Easy to understand? If you have some questions, drop it down, because understanding this concept is super important. Once you understand the concept behind the entire thing, you can literally build stunning websites and funnels. We have been doing so for the last 3 years, designing 110% custom design projects, 200 plus as of now. So I can tell you that this is going to work, but you have to focus on the basics. So this is where it is. So we have home, then we have menu catering. So let me look at that. Let me drag that down. So it's going to be, and when you click on this edit thing, it's going to give you a few options, right? So it's going to give you the title of it, which is going to be shown. Go to website. So you can choose either it can go to a page or can go to a website. So for this case, we are going to use go to page, because the page we are going to build is already inside the same this section, right? This is inside, this is going to be inside it, right? So that's going to be there. Let's say you want to target to an external website, external portal URL, external link, then in that case you need to use go to website URL. Okay, so we are going to use go to page, and we do not have that page as of now, so we're going to stick it to home page, right? You can choose it to be open in a new tab, which is turned on as of now, but I generally will recommend, unless and until that the page is external. So if you're using a website link, right, in that case make it go to a different tab or go to a new tab. But if you're using something internal, don't make it. So close it down, submit it. Oh, sorry, we have to add it as menu. I forgot almost. Okay, menu. Okay, so menu is added. Let me save that. Then we have something called as catering. So let me add catering to this, which basically means I'll just need to change this one, and I'm going to add catering to it. Again, this is going to make to change, turn off, submit. Take myself down. Then you have about and events before contacts. So now in order to create more menu items, we need to click on add items. As you can see here, is called as a plus sign here with add item section, add item basically buttons. I want to click on that, and that's going to bring up. And again, I just need to check about is still left, about and events. So just going to make it about. Going to make it go to page. Going to home page is fine. About, and then events. I just got that done. Okay, cool. Now, as you can see here, contact is on the last and about and events are before that. So we're just going to drag this at the bottom. Perfect, right? But as you can see, this got literally out of it because of the spacing issue. So what we can do here is we can just squeeze in a little bit here. I think this is a bit fine. Okay, now it's still outside. So what we can do here is we can use some a bit of negative margin to it. Sorry. Yeah. As you can see here, we can use a bit of negative margin. We can probably use this as well. But yeah, probably it's not going to help because you already have something in there. So let's just make it 0. And instead of making it 50, let's make it 70. Right? Because now you will be able to see that the changes. Let me see if I can go a bit more, which is spacing horizontally. I think I can. No, I cannot. The reason why it is not going on the left anymore, rather it's actually getting out of the navigation bar. The reason for this is very simple. The reason is this part is actually reserved for the name. Do you remember? There was a name writing, right? So that is the reason why this is showing up like this. This is a default feature. So we're just trying to use our brain in the right way possible to manipulate it to get what we want, right? So probably after 77, we might not be able to do so, which is perfectly fine. I'm just going to keep it here because now we can see the spacing on the left and the spacing on the right is very, very similar. So that's perfectly fine. I'm probably going to increase it to, let's say, 16, right? Or 17 is also fine, right? I think again this looks good. Probably I just make it, I'm just going to manually reduce it. Perfect, looks perfect to me. I love it. Now I'm going to set the video background as well. So let me just quickly save this. It's super important, so you should be saving it as much as possible. Otherwise, if something happens, then you're going to feel really, really bad about it because you've put in so much of effort, time, and energy into building this, and if that doesn't stick enough, that's a pain, man. That's a really pain. I've gone through this, trust me, and it's very heartbreaking. But yeah, so now we want to have this video. So this video is basically a marketing video that the restaurant owner should provide you as an agency. Or if you already have a restaurant, then you can get somebody, a videographer, to make a stunning video like this, because a video like, so if I just have to make it 100%, then because a video on top of it just, I mean, grabs the attention. Like, this is a $5,000 website for restaurant owners. Right? Let's get that straight, right? That's what its value is, and you can see the value in it, right? So I'm probably just going to make sure that you already have it. I just want to make sure it's compatible. So it's just 80%. Okay. So now we are going to add that video. So you can upload videos actually. For uploading videos, you need to go to something called as media. Do you see that? On the same bar under sites, you will be able to see media. Once you go to media, you will be able to upload videos. And then from here inside, you can add it, right? So what you can do is you can just select the entire section, because we want the video to be in the entire section, right? So just go to the section settings, come to the bottom, and you will be able to see background media type. So we're not using any kind of photos, so we're going to click on videos, and then we're going to click on this one, which is the image kind of thing, right? And then it's going to basically showcase me all the things that I have. So I already have a lot of it actually on my account, right? So that I can make it simpler and easier. So I already have it. As you can see, this is the B-roll of the stick, right? So I'm just going to add that. Cool, it's not showing up properly, but that's perfectly fine, because what you're going to do is we're going to click on fill, right? Or I think cover is also fine, but we'll see with time. But as you can see here, it has a white background, which doesn't look right. So the reason for this is because it has a white background like this, and we are going to click on this one, which says transparent. So this becomes transparent, right? And one more thing, now you are not able to see this. Okay, let me just do one thing. It should be cover. Okay, so now you cannot see the text is because the text color has changed. The text color is black, and since the background video is also currently black, and hence is the issue. So what we are going to do for this is very simple. We are going to go to this section here, and we just want to make sure that we're going to check the color of it, which is the color of the element, right? So this is the yellow ochre color, not really yellow. I know this because I like painting, and this is something that I love doing. And yeah, so this is the color. As you can see, this is black. We want to change it to this color. We add the hex code of it basically, and once you add that hex code, oops, it needs to be on this section. Add the hex code, you will be able to see these things. Sounds good? Awesome. We're going to develop this as we go, so don't worry about it. The next thing in here is this logo, this text, and this two buttons. So here what we need to do is we need to create another column, and we need to add this for the logo. We will duplicate this to add this for the text, or we might just add it inside one, so we don't have to worry about it. Then we can add a 2-row column, also 1-row 2-column structure, because one button is going to be here and another button is going to be here. Makes sense, right? So let's get this and see this in action. For this, you need to add an image. So I'm going to add an image element here, and then I'm going to make sure that the image optimization is turned off, right? Super important. Even though it says that you're going to increase your page speed and all of that, the reason why you should be using that is because When you add, you should not be using that is because when you add an image and Go High Level thinks that, hey, this is a very pretty big image or the file size is very high. So let's say half an MB or MB or a few MBs, right? In that case, Go High Level software is going to squeeze up. It won't squeeze up, it's going to reduce the quality so that it has a faster loading speed. So instead of that, what you need to go is you need to go to compress PNG, right? You need to go to compress PNG and you can see the compresspng.com. Here you need to upload all your PNG files and then manually compress them, download them, and then upload on Go High Level. Okay, that's how you can retain the quality as well as the speed. So I'm just going to add the logo which I already have inside my account. So this is the logo. Perfect. Then I'm going to add a text which is Central Texas Barbecue since 2012. So I'm going to add this header line here, as you can see here, right? You cannot see the header line because again it's in the complete black. So I'm going to turn this into yellow, turn this into yellow as well. Perfect. And this is probably in bold, so I'm going to make it less bold or non-bold it, right? As you can see, now you can actually see the headline. So I'm going to click on that and add this. Just make sure it's not bolded, right? It doesn't look the size of what it is now. So I'm just going to quickly check the font size. It's Anton and it's 62 pixels. Wow. I'm just going to, which is half of this almost, right? So I'm going to use this 62. Looks nice. I think the logo is a bit bigger than what it should be. So we're just going to restrict it into this thing. So as you can see, there's image option. You can see width and height, right? So I'm going to reduce or so this is a comment that came up recently. Hey, Pritam, my logo is not looking good because I've added it as 100 and 100. This logo will not look good because it is getting squeezed down because of this. Let's just remove one of these instead of making it 100 and then check. So just making 100, let's make it 300, right? Or 250, right? So based on that, you need to check. I think 250 looks pretty fine. I'm going to add a bit of margin to it, which is say 60 pixels. And then I'm also going to check if I can check this. Anton 18 pixels. What is this? Okay, this is Anton, this is 17 pixels. I'm just going to make it 18. Awesome. Now I need to have a button for it. So I'm going to search the button element here and I'm going to add that button element. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to add another button element because I'm going to give you a trick as to how to reduce workload and strategize as an expert web designer. So click on this button, make sure that this button is well taken care of. So make sure that this is on the right side, make sure that this is, this is, um, so as of now, the button is taking the content. So as you can see here, the button is taking the content of the subheadline or the headline, right? And we do not want that. We want that to be, as you can see here, the typography type is headline font. We want it content font so that it's much more clear, right? So we want this to be order now. Let's type order now. Perfect. And it has to be on the same color. So we're just going to click on the color options. And in this color, we can choose the yellow one. Oh, sorry. This is the color, internal color. I'm very sorry about that. So we probably are going to just make it transparent, no, black. So yeah, background color here shows green. We're going to turn this into yellow ochre, right? Perfectly looks beautiful. This has some spacing. Can you see that? The spacing on the left and the right hand side is more compared to this one. So for that, what we need to do is we need to add a bit of padding. We'll make it 40, we'll make it 40. Now this looks good. However, one more thing, you will be able to see that it has a curvature nature, right? At least on the side borders, the radius, right? This has a curved radius, and that's what we are going to achieve with that as well. So for now, as you can see, I remember I told you about themes. So you have themes here of different things. We're not going to use the pre-built things because we can do it on our own, and we are going to go to advanced section. We're going to scroll down and then we're going to go to border options. We're going to click here and we're going to click on full border. Once you click on full border, just make sure this is just 1 pixel. It is the same color. And here something comes up called as border radius. So now you can choose, let's say 10 pixels. When you choose 10 pixels, it kind of reduces that, which according to me looks amazing. I really like it because it kind of shows that this is not very sharp. So the way your theme is, you can decide how your buttons are going to look up on that as well. So yeah, I'm just going to click on duplicate. I'm going to add it here. I'm going to make sure it's aligned towards the left, and I'm also going to make sure that the background color is transparent so that I can see what's happening behind the videos. Apart from that, instead of making the color black, which is going to get mixed up with the background, I'm going to make it yellow. And since the border is very thin, I'm going to make it 2 pixels. But that also increases an additional pixels on the total length and width. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to go back to this. Instead of making this 15, I'm going to make this 14. I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to do the same for here. Now this is of the same proportion as you can see here. I love that. But don't you think this is like too close to each other? And rather it should have some spacing. The same way as you can see here, we have significant amount of spacing in between these. Right. In order to achieve the same thing, what you need to do here is you need to select this second column. Okay, the pinkish, the violetish texture, and then you're going to click on the left margin and then add 20 pixel to it. When you add 20 pixels to it, what it does is it eventually or equally separates both these elements by 10 pixels on both the sides. So that's really nice. Okay, so I think this is ready. Let me just quickly preview this and let me show it to you how this looks like and how similar it is to what we are trying to build now. Okay, this is how it looks now, and this is how it looks now. Probably we need to add a bit of spacing in this, a bit of spacing in this, and a bit of spacing in this as well. I think about, yeah, I think our contact is too much on the right hand side. We're going to squeeze that in a bit. Apart from that, I think everything else just looks beautiful. One more thing, the button is a bit bigger, so I'm going to squeeze that up as well. Okay, let's get to work. So what we need to do here is, as I told you, we need to squeeze that a bit. Perfect. We are then need to make it, let's say we make it 18 pixels of font size, because once you make 18, it's going to squeeze down. One more thing that you must have noticed in this is when you hover on these buttons, this kind of hovers on it, right? So for that, you need to select this button, go to the advanced section, go to the button effects. Can you see button effects here? Button effects, right? Go to the button effects, click on no effects, and then click on elevate. Do the same for this one as well. Go to button effects, click on elevate. Now once you hover on this, it's kind of lifts up, which I really like. Apart from that, I remember I had to add a bit of pixels into this. We add 60 pixel and on top of it. I really like it. I also need to add a bit of pixel here, so probably add 20 pixel in there. So I think that's pretty much it, how this is going to look like. Probably not 20%, let's make it like 10. Let's make it 10, and then let's make it 10 here, which is in between the logo and the headline. Right now we are not going to preview this because that's just going to generate a lot of preview links. Instead, we are just going to save it out. Once we save it, then it's going to get implemented on all the preview links which already exist on the internet. So if we just click on refresh, we will be able to see the changes we have made. So it's very similar to what we wanted, and I think I'm liking it. So let's proceed forward with this. I think it's still good. I think it looks lovely. I think this looks fantastic. We have almost equal spacing achieved on the left and on the right hand side. Okay, one more thing that you must have noticed is when we hover on this, it has this yellowish color, and then the text here kind of changes into white, right? So I really like this because this kind of because there's a constant change in the background, so you want to make sure that it has its own background, which is that it kind of creates this rectangular tab around it so that the texture or the text here, right, can be visible very clearly. So I really like this feature, or the kind of format here. We already have it here. The only thing is it is black and this is white. We want to change that, right? So in order to do that, so we have to make sure that this is, so here, as you can see here, this kind of changes to So we have to make sure that this changes to, the text changes to white and the background changes to yellow. Right. Now it changes to black, so I'm going to make sure white. Perfect. We're able to achieve that exactly. Really liking what I mean, really loving what I'm seeing here. I'm just going to save it and then let me just preview it. This should work and this should absolutely look stunning. Lovely, lovely. I like it. I like it now. Okay, so now just make sure this is 100%. So this is what people normally see on the 100% screen size of a regular laptop or desktop. If you have those lengthy ones, then you are going to get a squeezed up version for it. That's how websites are designed. But anyways, so this is how it's going to look. This is very similar to what is going to look here, right? Really liking it, right? Very simple and very easy to understand. And you can also hover on this. Very similar, very beautiful, perfect. We can probably I mean, even though it is 18, I can probably just make it 16. I don't mind that. We'll save it. I'm going to get a better output because UX UI is super important when you're trying to build funnels and website as a professional, not somebody who just want to try things out and go high level. Because when you learn about UX UI, you will be able to see a lot of things that other will not be able to see. So as you can see, there still has a lot some of the spacing. So what we need to do here is we need to squeeze that down, take it up, sort of auto, make it 10, and then shift the entire column as well. Perfect. Save this thing. So you need to use very strategically the margins and the paddings being provided so that you can attain what you're looking for. Perfect. Even now it looks like this, but I believe we have achieved a lot of it that we generally wanted. Let me just make it full size. Perfect. It's very similar to what this one already has. So I'm really liking it. This is a kind of a home structure. Okay, perfect. Let's get started on the second section, which is going to be this one, right? As you can see, this is what we are going to build now. Cool. So in order to build this, you will be able to see that, hey, how we have done that, right? There are two things here. Okay, first thing is the timings of the restaurant, right? So this has a kind of a brownish color at the background and has this text, has this subtext, which is the address. However, if you're thinking that, hey, these photos are also a part of the same section, then you're perfectly wrong, right? The reason for that is very simple. Can you see these? Can you see the mixing of this section with the brown color and this section with the blackish texture, right? And this is probably the reason is because this entire image gallery or this entire image lineup, right, is actually part of this section. In that case, we have added negative margin so it can get above this entire bottom section or the bottom line of this section. This is done for two reasons. First is to adding unique layout to our design, which kind of makes it non-boring. Second is to make sure that, hey, we can have an uneven breakdown from one section to other section. What do you mean by uneven breakdown? As you can see, the breakdown from this section, which is the video background, to this section is just a line, right? But since this has a video going on at the background, it's still interesting. If you can see here, this again has this very simple breakdown of a line, but these lines are curved in the corners and the above part has some textures. So we want to make sure that, hey, this is not a very boring kind of a lineup, rather it has an interesting layout and structure to it. Because the more interesting the structure and layout is, the better it's going to look, and that shows the level of intelligence that you have and the amount of expertise that you have, because you're able to extract that kind of features and elements from a tool like HIGHLEVEL using what is already inbuilt, right? So first we are going to use this thing. We're going to build this section, which is going to be for the timings. So let's get started on that. Quickly want to make sure this is compatible for me to edit. Then I'm going to click on this plus icon, as you can see at the bottom here, right? This plus icon. Just want to click on that. Okay. Just want to click on that. Now this, I also need a full width section for this, right? And I will probably need text here. So this is going to be a headline text. So yeah, one row column should be good. So I need to add that color as well. So I just want to make sure that I have that color. So this color is probably going to be with this hex code. A lot of you have been asking that, hey, which color picker tool are you using, right? So this is basically a Chrome extension named as color picker, as you saw, right? Okay, as you saw at the bottom right hand side that, hey, it's color picker eyedrop. So if you just go to Google and type color picker eyedrop Chrome extension, you will be able to see so. Right. So let's just add the color. Okay. Adding a custom color based on the hex code. Added. Amazing. Now we need to add this text as well, which is going to be again Anton, but we do not need to add it every single time because it's now added as the default text, right, for our entire landing page. So we just want to use that this is the color. We also want to make sure this is not bold. Awesome. This looks good. I just also want to check if the font size matches. So this is 42. So currently we're operating at 32. So you just want to make sure this is 42. And this looks perfect as well. Few things here, right? The spacing between the text from this side or to the bottom is more compared to the on the top. Can somebody give me the reason as to why? Why do I have the spacing on the top bigger than the spacing at the bottom? The reason is very simple. It's because the extra spacing. So let's say the spacing from the text to the top, let's say 20 pixels, right? Here I have almost 40 pixels. The reason for this is very simple. First, I need to accommodate this text as well. Second, this image with a particular of negative margin is going to eat up some of these pixel spacing. So I have to make sure that the spacing in here looks similar to the spacing on the top. It cannot be exact, right? If it's exact, then amazing, but it cannot be because we have multiple elements, which is the subtext and the image and all of that. But if you make it similar, then it's going to be more soothing to the eyes. People will not be, unless they are website designers, they will not be able to tell what's wrong, but they will be able to feel something within that, hey, something is not right, right? And that is because of the disproportion of the spacing that you have built on your landing page or website, right? It's all about the psychology of the visitor, even though the taste of design can differ from people to people, and that's perfectly fine. But as a professional web designer, you should be focusing on these as well. So what we need to do here in this is very simple. We just need to make sure that this has a spacing to it. So we're going to choose this one row column and just add almost 20 pixels or 30 pixels to it, right? Cool. Now we need to add this text and this icon as well. As you can see, this is a location icon, so I need to add that as well. So that's going to be, let's say, sub headline. I don't want the subheadline to have a headline font. I want that to be a content font. I also want that to be a white color. Same goes for the icon color as well. I don't want the icon to be on a different color compared to the text. I want this to be a location, so I want to make sure that we are tapping into that. And that's pretty much it. Okay. We want to make sure that this is not bold. And then we also want to make sure that we are making sure that the font size is respected with 17 pixels here. I just want to make sure this is at 27, 23 is too much. So 17 is the way to go. Perfect. This is what I wanted. So I'm just going to save that as well. Awesome. Let's get started with the third section of our website. The third section of the website is going to be this section where I can add these kind of photos to it. So as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photos all together in line. It looks very nice. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add one more section to it. It's going to, again, of course, full width. I also want to make sure that I have the color which I need, which is going to be this hex code. We're going to go here, add that color, zoom. So we added that, and there was 7, right? So I'm going to add 6 columns and then duplicate one of these. I also want to make sure that the setting or the entire width here is like allow the row to take entire width. So I'm going to turn that toggle on, which is going to allow me in order to have images from left to right. So I definitely want that. Let's take myself on the top. I want to add an image here, and image is added. Perfect. So just want to make sure that this is perfect. Now I want to make sure that the image optimization is turned off, because again it's going to reduce the quality of our images, so we don't really want that. Okay. Um, Let me just go back and get all the images. So I have all my image library here. Let me see which one is it. This is the tacos, probably. Kind of look like tacos, but yeah, I want to duplicate this, and then I want to add it here, because I do not want to use the same kind of pixels again or settings again. So I'm just going to use them. Then you have the meat here. Let's go back and let's get those done as well. So that's going to be probably this part. We're going to duplicate this and probably add it here. Duplicate this, add it here. Let's just get that sorted. The reason why we're duplicating and not adding a direct image is because of two reasons. Okay, first is duplicating and adding is easier. That's point number one. Point number two is when you click on this, it comes with when you add an image element, it comes with a padding already 10 and 10. So every single time you want to add it, you have to remove the padding here and there. Just multiple clicks, which we do not want. We do not want. We are professional developers, so we want to make sure that everything is super structured and focused. So when you know how can you do a work faster, realize that you have become, I mean, you've got a hang of it. You know what to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Add the image. The image here is going to be which one? Which one? Okay, that's it. Got it. The third one is going to be this one. Let me just add that. Uh, then we have the other image with the chips and the fries and the cauliflowers. So I'm just going to add that as well. Then we have the ribs. So let's get that added. Awesome. So the last image is remaining. So let's get that added as well. I'm trying to do this quickly. I think I've spent a lot of time explaining you guys, but hey, it's super important, right? So you need to learn all of these in order if you want to build amazing stunning projects. No compromise on that. Just want to make sure that I am reducing the spacing so that I don't have to use a lot of negative pixels. Yep, that's pretty much it. Now what you need to do is you need to do the magic, which is add negative margin to it. Looks nice. I'll just make it 60. And it looks better. It looks nicer. I like it. Probably 70 will also work. Awesome. I think this looks pretty nice and very similar to what we wanted. As you can see here, this is stunning, right? So now we are going to create another section and then add all of these. Now, the reason we must be thinking why we are creating a different section for this images and the section for the other one, we probably could have created the same one, right? The answer is yes, but the issue here is this section has this rule of that it is going to allow each and every row to take the entire width. If I do this for this part, which is the menu, then all these text and images are going to go apart, right? And which we something we do not want. So you need to use your intelligence. At the same time, you need to understand how to design the layouts. At the same time, you need to understand what kind of image and text are going to go in order to do this. Okay, this is super important, and I highly encourage you to learn more on that, because layout designing is super important. Unless until you understand the layout, it's going to be pretty tough for you to design stunning looking landing pages like this or website like these. I just want to make sure that it also has the same kind of branding. Perfect. Now we need to add a 2-column row because it's very simple to understand. I hope if you're my student, if you've watched all my previous videos, you already know that, hey, what to do. What Pritam is teaching is something, what Pritam does is what he teaches. All right. So here you need to have image, right? So here's the thing, right? we also like super focus on the imagery, the text, how it's going to look, all of that, right? The image here, I really had to dig deep and finding this image, and of course, I think this is a stock image available online. So you will be able to see that these people are going through the menu, right? A visual story representation is very crucial. I always say this on my tutorials, my courses, my walkthrough videos, right? So you need to tell a story so that people can understand without even looking at the text. Because in today's world, in today's generation, nobody has got the time in order to read everything, which we all understand because we are all scrolling all the time. So because of that, you need to be able to have visual things to increase people's understanding and awareness of your website, right? So that's pretty much it. So here we have added this. Not so we have not just solely added the image. We have made sure the image is a bit curved on the sides as well as has a kind of a a kind of a place to stay, which is this darker a brown color as per the branding, right? Again, you have this menu headline, you have this sub headline, you have the content, you have what we serve, which is meat, specialty sides, freshly made dessert, and at the bottom you or at the background, not the bottom, at the background, you also have that hey, this is also has a sketch to it, right? Since this is a restaurant, we want to give it to a restaurant like feel, so we have sketches like these from places to places. Let me show you, right? So this is the BBQ Brothers story section. As you can see, it has some sketches, which makes it look really nice, gives this a very depth effect, and makes it a modern website. So you need to be able to focus on and see what looks how, and you also need to be position it very nicely so that it does not go left and right? Because at the end of the day, this is not graphic design, this is web design and development, right? So you need to be focusing on that as well, and I stress that because that's quite different. So now we are going to add that image here. Let me just add that image, and then we need to add the text. So for the text, I want to just duplicate this headline because I don't want to create a headline again. So menu, just want to make sure that this is the same width we are now working on, so which is now for 52 anten, and here what we have is 42 anten. So I just want to make sure that this is 52 anten as well. Now we want to have a sub headline, which is going to be a sub headline like these, and we just want to make sure that we can pick up these. So welcome to our smokehouse delights, right? Lovely headline. By the way, a lot of people ask me, Pritam, who does all of your designing, right? Because somebody has to design all of these, design the graphic, design the copywriting, everything. So I'm a creative director in my agency, which basically means I direct everything. I'm also the guy who builds out everything, but I have some of the really nice skilled designers as well as copywriters who can write the copy based on what is required, understanding client's requirement, customer psychology, customer layout, all of that, customer avatar, all of that jazz, right? So I should be taking a class or a tutorial on copywriting. What do you think? If you think that I should take a tutorial or a course on copywriting, let me know in the comment section. I'll be happy to see what we can do for you guys, right? So yeah, this is going to be white, okay? And this is going to be the text here. I think the text is here 18 pixels, but I just want to make sure. Yes, pop-ins and 18 pixels. So I'm going to add that. Okay. I'm going to add a paragraph. Let me make sure this is white. Just want to make sure it's 18. Also want to make sure this is left aligned. Also want to add the content. It's probably got bolded, which I do not want. Okay, perfect. This probably also has some spacing to it. As you can see here, it has some spacing to it. You see that? So we just want to make sure that we add some top line spacing, sorry, margin to it. So 10 pixels will be good to go. Now we have something called as these oak smoke meats. So we just want to add, okay, here we want to add a paragraph again. Sorry, yeah, a subheading again. So for this, we want to have a 10 pixel of padding, but at the same time, we want to make sure that this is kind of 18 pixels. Also has a correct icon, which basically means this is included. So this is check mark or check mark icon, we can say, right? Icon color here. One more thing is that this has this has the headline font. I want to make it a content font, right? So that I can have this oak smoke meat. I also want to make sure this is not bold. And specific specialty sites. So I want to make that as well. Awesome. And then we have this button which is says view menu. So we're just going to copy this button here. We are going to drag that button here. Somebody's commented that, hey Pritam, I love your swiftness into the builder. Like you can do things very quickly. The reason for that is very simple, is because I've been with this software for over 3 years, and literally every single day I've been building funnels and websites for our clients. So you can understand the reason why. So view our menu is what the text is going to be. So I'm just going to write that. Right. I'm also going to add a menu. Okay, we just don't want that. I just did that. To remove this, okay, we want a menu. So just want to add that. I think this looks perfect. This is what we're aiming for. We're able to achieve that as well. We just want to add that graphic image, which is super important. Again, we need to optimize the image, which we already done, so we're not going to use that. We just want to use it here, and we're going to use that specific image, which is this one, right? Beautiful image of a couple, right? But we also want to make sure that we have the spacing in mind. So let's say we make it, I don't know, 200. Sorry, that's quite less. No, I think let me just check that. Yep, 450 is also fine, right? 450 is also fine. We already have some spacing to that. We can add a bit of 10 pixels to it, right? And then we need to add this sketch to it. Can you see this sketch? Right? Let me just make it full width. If you can now, you can see this. There's a sketch to it at the background, which kind of gives it a feel of a restaurant kind of a structure. So I really like these kind of sketches in the background, which kind of gives it a depth effect. So I just want to make sure that I add that. So just go to here. As you can see here, it's called something called as background media type. That's going to be an image this time. The first time this was in a video, but for now it's going to be an image. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to make sure that this is already available, and this should ideally be, this, as you can see here, this is the one, right? It is a transparent image, and it only has the sketch to it, right? And this is super important. I want to make sure this is 100% width, because once it's 100% width, it's going to be able to look something like what it is looking here, right? That is super important. Let me just preview it for you guys and showcase to you that how this looks like and how it is very similar to what we've already had, right? So again, the top section looks stunning. I really like it, right? I really love how it's going to look like. The buttons, I also like it. Is the button shorter or bigger? What the text size? The text size here is 18. I think that's pretty much, that's fine, perfectly fine. Cool. Now we also have this part of it, which is kind of comes on the top of it. I really like it. Again, as you can see here, menu part, it's very similar to this one. I really like that as well. So all of that is also taken care of. So yeah, that's pretty much it on how this menu section looks. Because after this, we are going to work on the food gallery, and I'm going to introduce you to the image slider. Right, image slider is a new introduction into the Go High Level Builder. This has some bugs, and I'm going to work this out with the high level team to make sure that we remove the bug. But as of now, whatever is available, it looks stunning. It does the job, and I really wanted to add this because it kind of shows you what people do, or what you have in the gallery, right? In a very nice format, without just adding images on the images. You can have this slider, which I really like it. So I'm just going to work on that as well, and I'm going to show it to you. Let's get into the builder, and let me show that to you as well. So for this, we are going to create another section, which is going to be of this darkish brown color. At the same time, you will be able to see that this darkish brown color section also has some curvatures on both the top and the bottom. Can you see that? So we also need to focus on the minute detailing, because that's super important. That's probably the reason why people are going to choose you as a professional web designer or web developer who has put in so much of mind. Forget about the effort of building the website. It's more about the intelligence, the mindset, the customer psychology, the thought process that goes behind the entire planning that goes behind it compared to what comes in the output, right? So that's something very, very specific that's we're focusing on. And let me tell you this, all the hard work that you do at the back end actually is visible on the front end, even though you might not feel a bit of design changes. But those small, minute detailing, that's what takes you as the company lead apart, as you might know, because most of you are already business owners. Same goes for your digital assets like funnels, website, all of those design. The minute detailing is what is going to take you forward and different from what is already existing in the market, right? So I hope that you really want to focus on that, because that is super crucial. So I just want to add that on the background itself, and I want to go to advanced section. I want to go to no borders to make it full border. I want to make it 1 pixel because I don't want too much of border. I also want to make sure that the corner, that the border color is similar to what is already existing, so that it does not have unnecessary lines around it, right? So one reason to have the border is so that we can have the border radius, for which we did all of that jazz. One more thing, as you see that the moment we tried to have the corners, it got white. So the reason for that is because the background color is white. So just want to make sure the background color is the dark color, right? So now we can actually build all of those projects, all of those sections, without having to worry. So this is going to be food gallery again. Let me just quickly check out the font 52 Anton. So that's going to be this one. Let me just grab a duplicate of that. Let me just what is happening. Grab that. I grabbed you. This is a pain in the ass. I mean, honestly, this is a pain, of course. Um, Go High should have an easy way of dragging tools, but hey, we do not have it yet, so I understand that. Okay, now we want to have these kind of 4 sliders. So again, this covers the entire width. So we want to make sure that this section here kind of has allow rows to take the entire width. So I'm just going to have a 4 column structure to it, and I'm going to add a good feature called as image slider to it. This is a nice image slider. We want to make some changes to it, which I'm going to show you now. I'm going to click on that image slider here. And now I want to show you the image slider. It's super important, right? So image slider, you can add multiple images depending on how many images you want to slide. You can have 1, 2, 3, and more, right? I want to just limit it to 3. That's pretty much it. The slider can have images, as you can add images. You can also add CTA links, right? And you can direct them what people do when they click on it, right? So it is clickable as well. So that you can add into a new tab or in a current tab, so it depends, right? And you can optimize the images and turn that off, right? You can adjust the width and the height and all of that jazz as well. And if you go to advanced, you will be able to see margins and everything is also available at this point of time, right? You also have border thickness. This is something that is not working properly, which is the border and the corners. And I know about this. I'm going to reach out to high level. I can get that modified as well. By the way, I have worked on a lot of these few bugs with Go High Level to make those changes, and they're able to do so ultimately, which I'm very happy about. Sean is a great guy to be, to know. Sean is the co-founder and CEO of Go High Level. Amazing guy, helps everybody. He helps me a lot. And this guy, I mean, when I have a request of changing things, and if I want to reach out to him, this guy gets it done with the dev team. So this guy, I mean, so glad that he is interested in what I have to say. I really like that. So here also you can see the shadow color, all of that, pagination, which I'm going to enable it, right? And I'm going to make sure that this looks like this one. So I really like that. um Slide arrows, I'm going to turn that off. I do not want that. There's a loop, pause on hover. I do not want pause on hover. So pause on hover is when it's in loop, but when you pause on this gets sorry, when you hover on this gets paused. So do you want that? Do you do not want that? Whether visibility, mobile, desktop. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me just add the images from it. So I'm going to add the images from here. I'm just going to add a bunch of images, which is going to be in this one. As you can see, I'm going to click on the second one. I'm going to turn off optimization. I'm going to click on this image. Again, I'm going to add that. So I'm going to add this one as well. On the third one, I'm going to add another image. This is going to be the third one. I also want to make sure the image optimization is turned off. And we select the first image here. Now we just need to duplicate it, add it. We of course need to change the image because we do not want the same image to be on both the, all on the four sliders. So that's something that needs to be taken care of. So we need to work on that as well. So till now you saw that we have already changed all the images and we duplicated this into the entire four columns. So we're just going to quickly change all the images here. Let me just grab that. And I just want to create a mixture of what we already have with our library. So let's grab them. Yep. Just going to use, let's say, this one. All right. And the second image is going to be, let's say, this one. The third image is going to be the new one, which is pretty much the ribs, right? I like it. Let's proceed forward to the third slider. So you'll have to keep adding. So I'll highly suggest that if you're doing it for one of your clients, just make sure that your client has all these kind of graphics which are going to be super important, right? So when they have it, you can just add all of these, and the more you add it, so if you just saw, right, so those so basically here I'm adding 3 photographs for a particular slider. You can add 5, you can add 10, you can add 15, right? So you literally have a lot to do depending on who your client is and whom you're serving. And if they have so many good photos, then you just feel free to add them, right? Because it's just really nice. So, yep, I think we are done for this one as well. So let's go to the last one and quickly make up a few changes. Last one is going to be, let's say start with this one. So let's add one more image. Perfect. Perfect. I think we are done. I'm just going to save that and just showcase to you how this is going to look like, because I believe this look like pretty amazing, and I'm really excited to watch this. So it's saved now. Let's give it a refresh. Cool. Awesome. So now, as you can see, we have like 3 images or 3 sliders, and they are pretty much going to slide on their own, and this looks really, really nice, right? I really like that everything is happening. But yeah, some of the images are duplicated for the simple reason that we do not have so much of stock. So you can definitely add more of these. One thing that you must have noticed is that when the screen becomes wider, right, the images become a bit, the width of the images increases, right? So as you can see here, right, increases. So I think this is a good thing because you never know what is going to be the screen size. But if images are going to increase, so you can also make it fixed, by the way. So don't get me wrong on that. You can definitely make those changes here. So when you click on the image slider, as you can see here, this is 500. You have not set up a height as well. So you can set up a height, and depending on whatever you set, it's going to work accordingly, right? So you can utilize that as well. But for me, let's leave it at this point of, I think this looks good. Just make it 100. It just looks better. And if you click on this, nothing is going to work for the simple reason that you have not enabled the hover effect, which is basically means that once you hover on this, it's going to stop. So that works very well because I've already tested it. And in case you want people to click on this and it go to a particular page or a particular link, that's also possible. And regarding the bug of the corners, yes, there's something that to be concerned about, and I'm going to reach out to the Go High Level team to make sure that's fixed. And of course, I'll update you on that. Okay, probably so we have completed a lot of it. Now we are going to complete the story section, the event section, super important, the barbecue catering section, the testimonial, and finally the sister branding. Okay, so it's going to take me some more time, but I'm really happy that you guys are still with me on this tutorial because I have been explaining everything to depth. So if you are a beginner as well, you will be able to understand it. So that's the level of that's the thing. It's very beginner friendly, and you will be able to understand and learn and implement it. Right. So that's pretty much there. Let me create a new section altogether. So this section is going to host this BBQ Brother story section. So I'm just going to, and again, as you can see here, this is very similar to this section, which basically means it is a one row, two column structure with an image on the left and the text on the right side. This is just the opposite of that, which is a one row, two column structure, image on the right hand side and the text things on the left hand side. So that's pretty much it. I can do even one thing. I can definitely just copy this thing, which basically I duplicated that, and I'm going to swipe that to the bottom. So even that is possible. And now you must be thinking, how can I get this image on the right hand side? So you click on that column section, because there are two columns here, right? And you see these arrows going up and down. So just make sure you click on the move down arrow, and voila. Looks amazing, right? We definitely need to change the background image, which we already have. If you see here that we have a very beautiful background sketch going on at the end. So let me just make it 100%. You will be able to understand that. As you can see here, the background sketch is pretty nice. It's kind of a texturing look. As you might have seen, a lot of restaurants has a beautiful theme base, right? And as you can see here, the texture or the sketches on the right hand side, which is the background of the images, is a bit darker compared to the same kind of a sketch which is behind the text, which is a bit, sorry, this is lighter and more visible compared to what you have on the back of the text imagery, which is a bit darker. The simple reason is this that, hey, people need to read the text to be able to understand that, and if they cannot do it because that they have a lot of things going on at the back end, then it's not going to create a lot of contrast in nature. And once you do not have a lot of contrast in nature, it's going to be very difficult for people to read, resulting in a poor user experience, and I'm sure you definitely do not want that. But at the same time, you also do not want the background to be completely, monocolor and a bit of boring and not that premium looking web design. In that case, you can use it and you can reduce the intensity of it to make sure that matches, right? That's something you can do, and I'm just going to show that as well. So I have this kind of, as you can see here, this one I already have it, and it looks pretty nice to me. Cool. Let me just make it 100% to be able to see that. I think this looks pretty amazing. So a few things, of course, we need to change the text here. So I'm just going to quickly copy that and do this. Just make sure that whenever you are, you are trying to learn from my YouTube videos, make sure that you're also implementing it as we go, right? A lot of people have commented on my YouTube videos at how they learn. And I really like the fact that, hey, they're learning something, they're pausing it, because this is probably the only channel on YouTube that teaches you about Go High Level web design in this much of depth, right? I don't think there's somebody else. And if there is, I really encourage people to do so, because we together need to help each other to grow this community. And I have been with this community for over, as I told you, 3 years, and I'm super proud of it. And I really like the community, I like its people, and I like the software. Probably that's the reason why I'm putting so much effort and time into this, and also money, a lot of money, right? So yeah, that's pretty much it about. And this looks nice. The button here is going to be about learn more about us, so I'm just going to add that as well. So it's going to be, instead of view our menu, is going to be learn more about us, right? As simple as that. Apart from that, we do not need this bar. Rather, is the icon after we need an arrow to it, right? So an arrow like these kind of indicates that there's more to it. So every arrow has also got an implication or an intention behind it. So you need to understand that as well. When you understand the intention of these icons, these arrows, these graphics, you will be able to put that nicely on your landing pages, on your website, on your buttons, on your your funnels and all of that, to be able to get a better visual storytelling and a better customer psychology attention grab. That's super important as well. Now you might be thinking that, hey, I'm just using these kind of nomenclature or these kind of wordings, but it's actually true. Like, you have studied on this, and you should also be studying a bit. In case you haven't, I highly encourage you to do so as well. But yeah, let me just make it a bit bigger. So I just want to make it I think 500 is good. 550 probably is a lot. I think 500 is good enough, right? So, and this should be sent to 100% width. I think this looks fantastic. Let me just showcase you a review process as well, right? So, yeah, this is going to load now. Just make it 100%. I'm just going to scroll down, right? Food gallery looks stunning. And voila, you have this BBQ brother section. I really like this, how everything came up. The background textures on the right hand side for the image background as well on the left hand side looks very neat, clean, gives the depth effect, and also kinds of tells a story also for the entire brand. So that's again crucial when you're trying to build a landing page or a website or a funnel for yourself or for your clients, right? Okay, let's go in and let's make sure that we get all the rest of the things done as well. So now we have the events, right? So let's quickly do it. You should be able to understand how people are doing it or how I'm doing it for this one, right? It's not quite hard, but I'm still going to help you explain. So we got the brown colors, and we also want to make sure that we have the borders. So full borders, just make it 1 pixel, not too much of, we don't want too much of bordering here, but here we want to make it like 20 pixel or probably 25 here, right? And then I'm going to add this text here, which says about events we host, right? We're going to duplicate this because we already have something like this. We're just going to duplicate that. And I'm going to add that here, right? I'm also want to make sure this is center aligned. I'm going to grab the entire thing and then add what I copied from there, right? Very simple. You must be thinking that Pritam is doing it so fast. I'm probably not that fast, which is perfectly fine because, hey, let's not compare somebody's chapter 20 to somebody's chapter 1, right? You're probably starting out and you do not have much of idea about Go High Level. And I have a lot of people reaching out to me who are very new to Go High Level. So I'll highly recommend them, hey, have some patience and do it on your own. You will be able to do so, right? It might not be good at the first thing. I mean, think about it. Anything that you started with the first time wasn't that great, but eventually you improved at it. And then it just worked out for you, right? So that's how you want to do it. So have some patience, and I'm sure you are going to do well. So here, as you can see, that this is going to be a bullet checklist, right? But at the same time, we have this color as well, which is basically surrounding the entire column, right? Not the row, not the row or any other part, and then it's in column. So I just want to add that color as well. So just want to showcase you. Do I have that color? Probably not. No, I do not have that color. So I'm just going to grab that color from here as well. Let me just grab that. So basically, I'm grabbing the hex code of the color so that I can pixel perfectly match that. So that's going to be a background color here. I'm going to add that here. On top of it, I'm also going to go to the advanced section. I'm going to add full borders. I'm also going to make sure this is 1 pixels, and then I'm going to add this here. I'm going to add 20 pixels to it. Probably 20 is a lot. Probably just make it 15. I think that's perfectly fine. Apart from that, now we are going to add a bullet test here. Bullet test basically means that this is having a bullet. So it really looks nice. So I'm just going to do one thing here. I'm going to, instead of having a check, I want to have a circle check. So, or check circle, right? Similar thing. Okay, I'm going to make sure that this is yellow. And apart from that, I also want to have the content here. I also want to give some depth effect to it. So I'm going to take shadow. I want it to be strong. And instead of making it black, I'm going to make it white. And instead of making it a headline font, I want to make it as a content font. I then want to add the entire content there. And voila, looks perfect. Looks amazing. I like it. Let's duplicate this entire thing. The reason why we are duplicating and not creating a new altogether section is because, again, hey, I told you, right? You already have something built. You need to copy that instead of just recreating things from scratch, right? It just takes a lot of time, energy, and of course, if your time is money, then it's taking the money as well. So I'm just going to make sure that this is 20 or probably 40. I think 40 is also fine. So yeah, that's pretty much it about how it's going to look like. But one more thing that you must have noticed that, hey, if I now make this, so if you have a so if you just have a look, you have these image gallery, right? It's about the events that they have hosted. Now this image is kind of stretches down or stretches towards the edges of the entire laptop screen or the desktop screen, and because of that, you need to use this functionality called as allow arrows to take the entire width. So once you make it like full width, then this is what happens to the column. But what you can do here is you can select the column and then you can make it 90%. That's going to change it, right? And it's pretty cool. I'm gonna make it like 85. Oh, it's nice. Let's say 80 is still fine. Yep, now I'm gonna make it 85. Looks perfect. And then I can add these kind of images. right? So this is how you can manipulate the entire section, because whatever you make on a section level is going to get implemented on all the columns and all the elements within that section. So make sure that you're also manipulating the things inside the section, which is elements, columns, rows, to be able to get your desired results, right? Thank you so much. And let me proceed to creating those galleries as well, which is a 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 images, lovely images. I'm going to add them as well. So I'm going to add an image here. I'm also going to make sure that the image does not have a lot of padding on all its sides. And then I'm also going to make sure that I turn off image optimization, because hey, I already told you, right? We do not use the image optimization like this because that just reduces the quality. So Go High Level does that automatically. So nothing to blame on Go High Level. But yeah, you need to be aware, and as a professional, you should be able to do it yourself first and then upload it on Go High Level. And based on that, you will retain the quality, as well as will not have to worry about speed issues. So that's there. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to add that. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to add that. Right. So a lot of you might not be able to do it in the first go, which is perfectly fine, guys, because I'm literally teaching you. For example, you're in class 2 and I'm teaching you subjects of class 10. You might not be able to understand, and that is perfectly fine. But get a hang of it. Try to understand this. Go through the entire video again and again. I'm sure you will be able to grasp a lot of it, and that's how we improve and that's how we learn, right? So I really like what we are getting here. This looks fantastic. Let me proceed forward. Okay, we have this button as well, which is check latest event. The reason for that is because we have events, navigation bar. So we have a separate dedicated page for that. So anytime an event, something like that happens, so people can actually go here as well, and they're interested to learn more about it and click on that, and they'll land up on that landing page. Make sense, right? So let's proceed forward to add that account. So add that button here. So I'm going to duplicate this button, which I already have, and then again I'm going to add a column. In this column, I'm going to add this button. Perfect, looks nice, but I want to make this a center line, and there's too much of spacing in there. Can you see that? I don't like so much of spacing when it's not required. So I just want to make sure that those spacings are gone. As you can see here, in excess of 20 pixels, all of that is there. So probably will not be having all those. And this 15 is also going to make it 5. Oh, sorry. Got it wrong. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So we just want to make sure this is taken care of as 5. Perfect, looks nice. I just want to make sure this is checklist, check latest events. I'm going to click on that button, and then I'm going to go here and I'm going to write check latest events. Perfect. There is an icon to it. I do not want that icon as of now because I think we are good. So now we're going to proceed forward to the next part of it, which is going to be the barbecue catering, right? So this is going to be, and I'm going to show you, this is going to be a structure of a layout. This is going to show that as well. So what we need to do here is, as you can see here, there is no image which is being added on top like this. So what we are doing here is we're adding the image at the background itself. We have a column here, but we are not really adding anything to it, which basically means that that column will not have anything to it and have a transparent in nature CSS, which is the backend, right? And then we are going to only work on the right hand side, right? So it's similar to what you already have here. Just remove this photo and it's going to look the way it is, right? So the reason why the website design looks stunning and very refreshing is because you're using different kind of unusual, unseen, non-boring layout structures, and you need to use your capabilities in order to try to extract it as much as possible with the Go High Level. If Go High Level introduces modern layout structures, I'll be really happy about that. But until they do so, you need to use everything you can in order to make the best of it, which we all do, right? So let's get and add. Let's get added the thing. You just want to make sure this is also full center. Apart from that, we want to make sure this is a 1 row 2 column structure, and this has this barbecue catering headline. So again, I'm going to duplicate this headline here and just going to, okay, sorry about that, drag and drop it, right? Drag and drop it Like it. Cool. Now I also want something on a text nature like this. Drag and drop. Awesome. Let's make it go left and let's then add the text. Oops. We have not copied the text yet, so let's get the text copied. Okay. So here what we can do is we just added the text. Again, it got bolded, so make sure you unbold it. And then you got, okay, I think this looks pretty fantastic. I like it. Now we need to add this button which just says learn more. So I'm going to duplicate the button here and I'm going to add that button here as well. I also want to make sure that the button is left aligned, and I want to click on this and I want to name the button as learn more. Lovely. I like it. I also want to make sure that I have some spacing to it. So 20 pixel is fine. This is also having 10 pixel, which is fine. Okay, one thing you might have noticed that there is so much of light on this that text might not be visible. So what we are going to do is we are going to take the entire section. We want to make sure that the entire section has a background color of black or blackish tone. And then even though it has blackish tone, nothing happens to the image because image has its own opacity, which is 100%. So we need to reduce the opacity of the image to be able to do so. Right. So as you can see here, we have selected the entire section on the top, on the right hand side bottom, background image opacity is set. So that is set to none. We're going to make sure this is light fade. See, once you made this light fade, it got a bit darker because it is got a bit translucent in nature. And since the opacity decreased, the background color was able to come up as an effect to it. So it basically means that the background was dark, so it made the entire photo darker because they've reduced the opacity of it. Make sense? Right? So that's how we did this. Just make sure we have some spacing on top and bottom. So we just want to make sure that spacing is good enough. So let's just write 30 on this one and 30 on the bottom. That's it. So in website, in the desktop mode, so on a laptop or desktop and all of that, you can have spacing, right? You can, let's say here, you can add a bit of spacing. You can add like 40 pixels, right? And the same goes for this one. You can add 40 pixels. That's going to make it look nicer, right? But in the mobile mode, that's not going to look nicer for the simple fact that, hey, the real estate in mobile is so less. So you need to utilize the spacing in the best way possible, right? So that's one of the reason why you need to use more spacing in the desktop mode and the laptop mode compared to on the mobile mode. Okay, I hope that was a good learning for you guys. Let's proceed forward to the client review section. I really like this section. I love this section, the way it comes out. So as you scroll down, you're going to see that this is going to come up and there is something at the bottom which is like kind of stuck, right? Kind of a wall, kind of a Hall of Fame wall, right? Looks really nice, looks really stunning. I really like that. Again, client reviews. So as if, there is a wall at the back end with an imagery of barbecues, of sausages, of burgers, steaks and all of that, cooking materials, all of that. And on top of it, right, there is a crystal glass structure which has all the testimonials and everything being written or added or stuck, kind of a Hall of Fame. That's how I also want my landing page to be, or at least this section to be. So I want to have, again, I told you, right, you need to come up with new ideas in order to create different layout structure which are not boring, and that's what is going to take you and make you different from what others are doing. At the same time, they're also going to make you and make your website and landing pages look much better. It's going to get more inquiries. People are going to get more curious. You as a web designer, web developer, you can showcase people, hey, I'm much more experienced into this, and you're going to get paid much more than what you are currently at this point of time. Like, as I told you, if I have to do something for this, I'm going to charge like thousands and thousands of dollars, and which is perfectly fine for a business because they understand that, hey, professional web designers and somebody who specializes in go high level, that is a very, very fair price to pay, right? So again, the way it works is very simple. So I have a background image, right? And then on the top of it, I have these text, and the background image is added as an effect to it. So the way I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this entire section. I'm going to go to the image and I'm going to show you that image. Okay. So this is the image. Can you see this image, right? This is the image, right? This is just nothing but a sketch, right? A beautiful sketch. Again, you need to know which sketch to add, how to add them. Oops, sorry. I'm just going to make sure that sometimes Go High Level hangs. Yep. I just want to save that. Cool, got it saved. I just want to refresh that because I probably have clicked on a lot of few buttons, but yeah, that's pretty much it, right? So you need to have that background texture on top of it, right? And on top of it, right, so the background is with the texture. On top of it, you have these things, right, with the transparent border and everything. So that's how this glass and glass morphism effect kind of comes in, and I really like it. I also like the 3D nature of these kind of small elements, which looks really nice and comes up and gives it a depth effect, right? So modern websites and funnels will have these kind of depth effects, and is an indication that is somebody is done who has a lot of experience or is already a professional in his or her field, right? So that's pretty much it. I'm going to add that image. The image is probably added. I'm just going to make sure that this is centered. Yep, this is added. But I'm going to make it, instead of full center, I'm going to make it full center parallax because I won't have that parallax effect going on. So let's get on that. Here I'm going to add this text as well. So the text is going to be again copied here. It's going to be again center line, and this is going to say client reviews. Very simple. We're not going to have too much of text that people cannot understand or takes a lot of time to understand. Rather, we want to have something simpler for people to grasp and read easily. Apart from that, now we are going to have the most important thing, which is going to be the testimonial sections altogether, right? Here, as you can see, what I'm going to do is very important, right? So make sure you pay attention to here. So now I'm going to add this effect to it. Now let's understand what this effect is, right? You can see the background clearly here, but you cannot see the background clearly here, but you can still see the background, which is not clear, but has a blackish kind of effects to it, right? So because of that, it's very simple. We click on this entire column, which is there, and you go to the background color section. Instead of here, you can click on this part, right, which is overlay. When you click on this overlay color, so this is going to have a darker overlay structure, overlay color, which is going to make it look really nice. As simple as that. I'm just going to make sure that this has a full border. Probably 1 pixel is fine, and I'm going to add that tone as well. I think they are using 2x, or it's not they, it's me only. So this, yeah. Let's make it 2 pixels, and let's make sure the order is 20 pixels. Right? I think it pretty much looks nice. Okay. Apart from this color, there is no other color. No, I think this is perfect. Okay, now we are going to do a few things. So first of all, we are going to make sure that we go to the general part of it. We are going to add some pixels of spacing inside it. Now we want to add a few things, which is going to be, the first thing is going to be that this image. Second thing is going to be the body text, and third is going to be the name text. Okay, so we are going to add an image here. Let me add that image here. So we got the image here. Looks really nice. But of course, let's make sure that you're taking care of the padding. And let's make sure the weight here is 60. 70 is fine. Just make sure this is on the right left hand side. Also, let's make sure that we have some negative margins to it. So in this case, we can make this 80 pixels. Very similar, I would say, but a bit more is needed. Let's say we make it 100 pixels. Yep, I like it. Apart from that, what we need is we need a bunch of text. So I just want to copy this, right? I like it. Let me just add these content here. Okay, don't worry about the image if that's gone way above than it should have. That's perfectly fine. We're going to still manage to do stuff. so don't worry about it. One more thing that you need to focus on is click on that column and make sure instead of center it is left aligned, right? So that's there. Let's add a subheadline. The subheadline will have a color of the yellow ochre, which you already have. Just want to add that and want to make sure this is not duplicated, or this is not basically bold, and we want to make sure this is left aligned with a padding of, let's say, 20 pixels. I think I like that. Okay, cool. Let me just check quickly what is the font of this. Font is 18 pixels. Are we using 18? I probably think so. Yes. Okay, now what we want to do here is we need to just make sure this is, I'll just make it 70. Should be fine. Oh, what happened? Oh, 570. Sorry. This needs to be only 70. Perfect. I think this is coming to shape. We also want to make sure that we have some padding at the bottom here as well. So just add some 20 pixels of padding here. I think this looks pretty nice. Pretty sleek and beautiful. Okay. One more thing that you can add here is regarding the text is instead of left, right, and middle, you can add this one, which is going to proportionally spread across. So that's one of the thing. Let's make sure that this is 20 already, right? Let's make it 10. All right, this is already 18. Yeah, I think this looks good. And now I just want to duplicate this entire column and delete this one. And now I'm just going to add a 20 pixel of padding to these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's the 5-line structure. 1, 2, 5. I think this is very similar. And this is fine. Let me just preview it and showcase. Okay. Let me just duplicate them as well. Okay. The video looks fine. The section looks good. Menu section looks good. Okay. The menu section is kind of, you can make it a bit darker. The way you do it is very simple, right? You go to the menu section here. You can see the sketch is a bit overpowering. So here, again, the background opacity is what you need to play with. Make the background opacity half fade. This is going to be, as you saw, right? So let me just make it normal again. Just look at the background, okay? Now I'm making it half fade, right? And this looks nicer. So this is going to increase the readability of the text, which is on top of this sketch effect, right? Let me just refresh it and see. Now it's much more readable, and it also has a background, so I really like that as well, right? So apart from that, let's proceed forward and see. Okay, I like it. Similar to what it is currently. I think we just want to make sure that this is. What if we just add, instead of 20 pixels, just add 10 pixels to it? No, that's going to just take it too long. I mean, too much on the side, so we don't want that as well. So we just now need to duplicate the entire thing. And now here you can basically change all the text and then you can use it for yourself. But one thing you must have noticed that, hey, these kind of flares are overlapping each other. You definitely don't want that. So for that, just add a 20 pixel margin to it. 20 or 40 is still fine. 40 is fine, yeah. So go on that thing, add a 40 pixel margin to it. Now, of course, you cannot do all of these things on a mobile mode. You have to make sure that this is mobile friendly as well, which is what we are going to discuss on the next tutorial, which is going to be the part 2 of the free web design course. So let's make it 100% and let's just see how this looks. Again, these gallery looks amazing. The story looks good. Event is also stunning. You can see it's all the way to the edges, right? Events we hold, this needs to change. The text needs to change here, right? But apart from that, I like it. The client review section looks stunning here. Love it. Let's proceed forward and let's make the other changes as well. So this, I forgot to make those changes here, right? This is supposed to be barbecue catering, and the text also needs to be changed. Let me just check that. Save. No, I think this is perfect. This is perfect in this case. Let's proceed forward to create another section to it. This section is basically going to be about their partner brands or sister brands, right? So they have a coffee shop and they have a bakery, right? As simple as that. Quite simple layout, right? Again, simple as well as neat, right? Both things are important. I'm just going to make sure that they have a darkish color tone, right? And then we are going to make sure that they have a full border as well, because you want to attain that nice texture or nice curvature on both these ends. So that's going to be one of my focus areas as well. So just want to make sure this is 25, which is looks perfect. Now we're going to have two column structure, and in this two column structure I'm going to add an image here. So an image needs to be added, so an image got added here. With this image we are going to add this the sister brands. The first one is the coffee shop, so we have it here, right? So the coffee shop is here, and then we need to add some text of that, of course, coffee shop refer. So that needs to be added. What is the text size? I'm just saying that this 26 and then, so I'm just going to make sure that this is of course it's not 26. Let's make it 26. Perfect. I'm liking it. Let's proceed forward and let's add all the text here. So again, we're going to copy the text from these places. So I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to add the text here as well. I want to make sure that they are not bold, which they were. So I'm going to take that off as well. Now this is very interesting, right? This is not a button, unlike these ones, learn more and all of that. This is actually a link, right? An hyperlink. So what you need to do here is you need to create an text and convert that to an hyperlink, so that when somebody clicks on that, right, they can actually go to another page, right? And this page is going to be probably your sister brand's website or their landing page. Okay, so this is very simple. It says visit smoke and shops. Okay, this is different, but yeah, you can see this arrow is also crucial. So what you're going to use here is we're going to use the subheading as well. This subheading here is going to be okay. We do not want the subheading to have that Anton effect, so we just want to click on this and we just want to go to typography type, which is going to be content font in this case. Also, I just want it to be simpler and shorter. At the same time, I want it to have an icon which shows that, hey, this is clickable, so make sure you click it. So that icon needs to be an arrow, okay, and it has to be this one, right? So this is a symbol that, hey, something here is clickable, so somebody, if interested, can click and enjoy it. Right, and let's say I write it to PritamBhadra.com. In case you have not checked PritamBhadra.com, make sure you do, and that's going to be great. Click here. Now, as you can see, the link text color is blue. I want to change that to yellow here as well. So what happens is, if you hover on this, is going to have that underlining. Can you see that? Right, the underlining is not there currently. When I hover on this, it kind of has that underlining to it, which is also an indication that this is the link. And once you preview that, right, so it's going to come up as an hyperlink. Then you click on that, you're going to go to PritamBhadra.com. Let me just give you a live demonstration of that as well. So here you just click on this. As you can see here, right? So the button gives a representation that, hey, this is clickable. So you can click on that instead of using the button itself, right? So the icon gives a representation, and you have the text here. When you hover on the text, it kind of has an underline to it. When you click on that, it kind of takes you to another page, which again, because we don't have the domain attached to it, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, that's pretty much how to do it. Okay, cool. Let's proceed forward and let's make sure that we need to change it. So again, click on the arrow, so the arrow, drop down arrow, and you're good. Now here you need to add that image of their bakery, which is, again, we already have it. In case you do not have it, but in case you're working on a client, make sure you get these images because it is super crucial, right? Do not add something which is not there unless and until you have approval of them. And it's good to actually have the original ones, Cool. Okay, now we have almost everything done. We're just going to add this. Instead of coffee shop, it's going to say visit Fire and Flower Bakery. Awesome. I think we have just completed all of it. Now we are going to the last part of this, which is going to be the footer section, right? So now we're going to go ahead and add the footer section as well. The footer section is kind of a black in texture and has 1, 2, 3, and 4 columns. Yes, 1 row and 4 column structure. First one has the images and the social media icons. Second one has all the page links. Third one has the open hours, and the fourth one has the connect with us details. So I'm gonna click on that, and we're gonna click on 4 columns, which basically means 1 column, 1 row, and 4 column structure. I'm gonna add an image to this, which is going to be, of course, the logo color. Awesome, we've added that logo as well. Of course, always make sure that these are set to left, which is going to be content spacing. Super crucial. Right? We can make this 200 or 250 is also fine. Now we need to add the social icons. So let's add those social icons as well. So in Go High Level, you get pre-built social icons, which I actually like. I don't mind them, mind using them. Right. So let's not have LinkedIn, delete LinkedIn, and delete YouTube, and probably Twitter as well, because nowadays people no. Let's keep Twitter. Let me see. Yep, they have Facebook, they have Instagram, they have Twitter, and they have, which is now X, and they have TikTok as well. Instead of icon being, let's make it 30. Let's make it 30. Make it all left aligned. Uh, make it this one. I think this is the same one. Yep. So for some reason they are not coming all together. Probably the reason why this is 30. Let's make it 20. Okay, let's make it icon only. Yep. 30 is good. Yep. Awesome. You got the theme, and in the advanced section, make sure that you take off this spacing. No, I think spacing is fine. So custom CSS, you have a lot of changes that you can do, but you don't want to do it as of now. So I think this looks pretty good. Now, the next thing that I'm going to do here is, yeah, I'm going to click on that. I'm also going to make sure that center is now left aligned. So for this, we're going to add page links here. Perfect. Just going to duplicate this entire thing here. And I'm just going to copy the text as well. Not really copying the text, which basically means that I'm just going to add these home, menu, and all of that. So I'm just adding the home. That's it. I want to add a lighter gray texture, so I'm going to grab a light gray. Yep, that looks nice. And I'm going to probably make it 16. And I'm just going to duplicate depending on how many pages I have. Right. So I have a lot of pages. So we have menu, catering. I'm going to add all of that here. Menu, catering. Let me just add. Catering is done. Then you have about events contact. About. Then add events. And then you can add contact. Cool. I think we are done with this as well. Let's just duplicate the entire section, entire column, instead of doing everything again and again. So just delete the empty ones. And this also I think is quite big. So let's reduce the size this to 20 or 20. Yeah, 20 is fine. This is again needs to be 20. This again needs to be 20. Love it. Okay, now this is going to be open hours. So I'm just going to grab that. Lovely. Just want to make sure that I add the content as well. So we don't need all of these content, so we're just going to remove them and just add one content, which is going to be good enough. Perfect. Now we just need to add these ones, so you can just copy all of them at once. Perfect. I think the logo is a bit bigger, so I'm just want to make it at 200 and see how that's going to come up. I think the logo here is better, so I think that looks better. Also, I'm going to add a bit of spacing onto the left, which is going to be, let's say, 20 pixels. Okay, and yeah, I think this pretty much looks the way we wanted our entire landing page to be, and we got this completed, which is amazing, guys. So we just got this completed. Let me just take a look. Okay, let me just take a look. By the way, this time we have some party poppers as well because of the celebrations. So I'm just going to use a bit of party poppers, which is amazing. This looks great. This looks stunning. Like as you can see here, right, we have the navigation bar, home, menu, catering, which looks stunning. Equal spacing on left and right hand side. The background video looks very stunning. It kind of attention grabbing. It shows what you're gonna get. It's BBQ Brothers. The text are nice. The buttons are very beautiful. You have this section also played very well. The menu section looks very, very stunning. So again, some party poppers on that as well. Looks beautiful, right? Then you have the food gallery, again, working very nice. So again, great job, party poppers, for that as well, right? Then you have our story. Again, looks pretty nice, beautiful. Then you have events we host. Again, we got this because based on the structure of manipulating sizes and allowing the permissions. Barbecue catering, again, looks good. And the special thing we did here is we didn't use anything on the left hand side, and we made the image darker, if you remember, right? So that's the important thing. I love this testimonial section. This is beautiful. I mean, this looks stunning. This is beautiful. I cannot say more about it. This looks stunning. Now this is the coffee. This is about the sisters. We have not added the headline, which is fine. So, but yeah, this is about sisters. Again, looking fine. And this is about the footer. Perfect. I think this entire tutorial of the free course was stunning for the homepage. On our next tutorial, we are going to discuss about how to make it 110% mobile optimized. So as of now, you will be able to find that, hey, this is not perfectly mobile optimized, doesn't look that great, buttons are here everywhere, photos are too big, doesn't like it. So I'm going to show you how to make this entire homepage mobile optimized, and so that you can make sure that all of the traffic that's coming in has a pleasant experience. And after that, we are going to focus on the menu, how to mobile optimize that, catering part, how to mobile optimize that, and so on and so forth for all the pages, right? I hope that you liked about what we do, right? And if you like that you have learned from it, make sure you comment about it, right? If you have any queries, also comment about it. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and if you know somebody who can get benefited from these kind of free courses, because I'm putting in a lot of effort, as you can see, please feel free to share it to them. Your love and support really matters, and that actually is an encouragement for me to keep on making these kind of videos, which is, I believe, is a game changer in the industry. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.